I talked to me about him a long time ago. So you guys then organize a prison transport. It gets intercepted, ambushed, whatnot, big shootout, pow pow, big guns, explosives, whatever. I vaguely saw and skimmed 3 search warrants for people whose like DNA was found as a result of that shootout, right? So those 3, for me, I just contributed very briefly to the other judges and said that's a slam dunk for me. If you're breaking out a terrorist or prison transport and your DNA is all over the ground next to bullet casings, then your shit should get searched. So no problem there for me. Then I saw something about a surveillance warrant for the 6-star Tunershop, which made sense to me because private property, typically you can't set up cameras or nothing. But in this case, given the allegation that they were like involved with his escape, given the articulation about the people involved or whatever, makes sense to me. Get surveillance, do your investigation. I was expecting probably like subpoenas on all the people you were also searching. Brian's done this a lot, so you start uncovering the web and all that. To my understanding, then there was also a search warrant for the Tunershop, and this is where it gets a little murky. So for businesses, my perspective is that typically, if like, let's say we arrest someone dealing meth on the corner, and you want to search all their shit to find like more meth, that makes sense to me. It's like 1-to-1, right? We got rid of the key issue, so we've kind of eliminated the idea of like all the chain rating and the different people involved. It's like if you get caught dealing meth, we're gonna check all your shit. If you get caught dealing meth, we're gonna check all your shit for more meth. Makes sense to me. With businesses, it's tricky because typically the logic of like 51 versus 49% of is there evidence of the crime in this location? Well, when it's a business and there's like, hundreds of employees potentially, the idea of rating the business because there's an allegation of involvement of one person, it starts creating this sort of like chain where I don't know if we want to daisy chain the connections like that to where this person was alleged to be involved in the breakout of a person who's suspected for a bunch of crimes. So we're going to raid the business that person works at, because that was where the person who ultimately was sought for arrest was seen and found. I get the idea behind it. I'm just not sure that we should be
It's not an
signing that right
allegation,
off
though.
the
It's a
bat.
fact.
Understood. I'm just speaking in generalizations. Don't read too much into my wording. I'm not sure we should be signing that right off the bat. I think the subpoenas and the surveillance probably should be enacted first. I think we should develop those connections that are alleged, meaning the involvement here from like Marshall, for example, and then proceed to searching it if we can find something from the subpoenas and from the surveillance that points us to, the involvement of him or people specifically using this for that purpose. I think it being a general public hub, it's tough to leap to the idea that there would be things stashed here. I mean, it's equally as likely, like it's kind of and this might begin to the weeds a little bit. Have you ever heard the theory of like, people talking about like the probability behind God existing or not? It's kind of like, it's not a binary solution of is God real or not. There's a question of is my God real, or the Hindu God, or the fire God on top of the mountain. So it's not really a question of yes or no. It's a question of, are you going to pick one thing out of all the possible scenarios? So when we're talking about probabilities of 51 versus 49%, are we really talking about whether or not things could be in the tuner shop or not? Or are we talking about this person who has access to the tuner shop could also stash things in a warehouse or their house or anywhere else? And so then we need to establish, are we going to just allow you to search everything that person touches, and does that?
But that's not why we're searching it, though.
Yeah. So what what you're saying, I think we hear that loud and clear, and I don't think we would have pushed the warrant.
Yeah, exactly. We hear you loud and clear on all that shit, but that's not anywhere close as to why we deemed it necessary to submit a warrant.
Okay, so what was the articulation for the tuner shop stash specifically? Because you got to remember, I literally just came into this on the tail end.
Why don't you take this, Knight? You're more articulate.
So we're talking about a small time frame in which Michael Simone